Well, good afternoon, everybody, and thank you for joining us for this Q&A webinar today. I'm Liz Nunan, President and CEO of Houlihan Lawrence, and I'm so excited to be joined by Joy Metalios of the Metalios Group of our Greenwich brokerage. Our topic today is building a successful real estate team, and I can't think of anyone better to discuss this with than Joy. But first, we just have a few little housekeeping items. We're going to go through some Q&A together, and then I'm going to open it up to the audience so you can post any questions using the chat feature, and we'll try to get to all of you before the end of this discussion. One thing I do want to know is that we will not be discussing compensation in any way, but if you want to speak with Joy offline, she'll be happy to have a confidential discussion on team compensation. So I really wanted to do today's session because so many agents are interested in creating a team, but don't know the first thing in how to go about it. And since Houlihan Lawrence is home to so many successful real estate teams in our marketplace, who better to learn from than from one of our own and one of the best. So Joy, first, let me just welcome and thank you for agreeing to do this with me today. I know you are super busy right now, so we're all greatly appreciative of your time this afternoon. So I'm going to start by asking you to just tell us a little bit about yourself and what made you interested in starting a team. Because when you started in the business, you were just operating as an individual agent initially, correct?
Yes, yes. So I started in the business almost 30 years ago. And I started out in New York City as a single agent, a lonely single agent. And I decided to start my team about 5 years ago. And it was exactly 5 years. And really, it was just because so much business was coming in. And the first, there's so many different ways to structure a team. So when I first started out, I didn't have a team in mind. It was really, I just need help. So let's just start with an assistant, right? And I went through a lot of assistants before finding the right one. And I think that's always the hardest hire and the hardest thing for agents to give up is give up control. Yeah. And I did get advice from an early mentor who said, because I was like, I found this person, she's great, she's just like me. And they're like, no, that's not who you want to hire. They're like, you need to hire the opposite of you. And I was like, really? But why? It didn't make sense to me. But then when he told me why, it all made sense, because that person can do all the things that you put off doing because you don't like doing them because they don't come naturally to you.
Yeah. Yeah, I can totally see that. And it's interesting that you say that. I think that many agents, when they reach a point, they know that they need help, but they don't quite know what they should be delegating over to somebody else. And I think usually the first step is to find an assistant and then from there, grow a team.
Yes. Yes. And, I know that there's a lot of people that are just starting to think about this. And what I would say is take your time, make sure that you find the right person. And if you don't find the right person, cut off the ties right away. When I finally found the right person, it was Jen Thomas, who's now my sales manager on my team.
Right.
And I was like, oh my gosh, this is how good it could be.
Right. Yep. I love that. So I'm going to start with like a list of questions for you. How has creating a team helped you to grow your business and build your own brand?
Oh, okay. So, listen, regarding brand, I feel like brand is not a logo or a slogan. I feel like brand is about how you show up every day. And, I'm coached by Tom Ferry. And one of the first things that he said to me when I was starting my team was, you have to be crystal clear about your mission statement. And so the mission statement of our team is very simple and it's very clear. It's clear to every single person on the team. It's to provide a 5-star experience, home buying or home selling experience, period. So, how has the team helped? We're kind of in this on-demand economy right now. Think about it. You can do everything with your cell phone. You can order Uber Eats. You can order a car. You can even order a Tesla within a few buttons and have it at your doorstep. So the consumer is expecting things to be done quickly. And so part of that 5-star experience, I think, is making sure that the the client is able to get into homes quickly. The phone is answered when they call, and that there's people to answer their questions.
Right. If you're on an appointment, they're not waiting for an hour and a half until you're done with a listing presentation. Somebody else can at least let them know that they've been heard.
Right, which is another part of this 5-star experience that we believe strongly in, and it's one of our core values is communication. So if you cannot get back to them right away, to have someone that says, I'm so sorry, but we will be getting back to you shortly, so that there's some type of communication. The third piece would be being a knowledge broker or being a market expert. And I really feel strongly that our move to Houlihan Lawrence last year was the data that Houlihan Lawrence has because of our market share is huge. And David Haffenreffer, God bless him, he loves data. And I'm not I love to take the data after he's crunched it all. And it's a huge tool. So I think our job as realtors is not to sell houses. It's to educate and to advise our clients to make sure that they are able to make the right decisions for themselves and for their family.
Yeah, I love that. And I think you're so right. We are fortunate to have access to all that proprietary data because of the participation rate that we have, which is, just so beneficial to all of our agents.
Yes. Yeah.
So there's so many different ways to set up a team. For example, a team can be, 2 agents who work basically as partners, and they split the workload and they split commissions. And then there's obviously, the model that you are working under. And so your model is probably one of the more popular ones where, you are the team lead, and then you hire, just as you were saying before, an assistant, and then other people for other roles as your team grows. So can you describe a little bit about the structure of your team and who does what?
Sure. So there's, like you said, there's so many different ways to structure a team, and there's a lot of team leads who really like to be, like, you go onto their Zillow profile and it seems like they do hundreds and hundreds of sales and their team agents do 0. That's not the way my team is set up. So we have 5 support team members, and they are just as important as any of the agents that sell. And then we have 10 licensed agents. As far as who we have in support, we have my licensed assistant, we have a marketing manager who basically, her role is to deal with all of our lead generation online. She also does all of our print and our digital media. And then we have an in-house videographer and photographer who helps with all of our, we do a local loop channel. We do a lot of informative videos, again, to inform and educate and give knowledge to our clients, whether they're our clients now or in the future. And then we have a transaction coordinator, which is another key hire, because I am not good at paperwork. I am good in front of the client. I'm good at negotiation, and that's what I do. I need to be out there. And so she deals with all the paperwork. And again, it's hard for a single agent to do all of this and do it well. And then our last hire was a huge hire for this year, who's going to take us from 100 million to 200 million. And he is our COO, who is looking at all of the data. Again, because I'm not a data person, he's looking at our KPIs, he's looking at our cost per lead, he's looking at the conversion rate of all of the agents. So they all have certain goals, and it's like, how many conversations do you need to get to an appointment? How many appointments do you need to get to a sale, so that they can all meet their goals? And so he is there also for a lot of accountability and to make sure that our systems are in place. I like to say I go to Kevin with my problems and he solves them.
Love it. So those are your support staff. And then how many licensed sales team members do you have?
So we have 10 right now. 3 of them are ISAs, or inside sales agents, or what we call them our client care specialists. So because really what their job is to touch on everyone that's in our database, which is thousands of people, and to just check in on them. And it's not necessarily, again, to sell. It's like their whole job is to be empathetic, to listen, to see how we can help, whether it is to get them a contractor, give them some paint colors, things like that.
Yeah, great. And I like and appreciate the fact that your salespeople, that their own numbers roll up under them. So they do get MLS credit. They do, get credit for their sales. It's not all just going under your name.
Correct. Yes. Yeah. I listen, I want them to succeed, and I think they work hard and they deserve all the credit for that.
Yeah. That's great. All right. Next question. A lot of times in a team structure like this, the team lead is like the rainmaker. They are working on obtaining all the leads and handing them out. So I thought I would ask you, are you the rainmaker, the only one bringing in leads? Or I'm assuming the way you're set up is probably that your team members are also responsible for bringing in some leads.
So I invest in a lot of lead generation sources. So yes, that is a big part of where we get our business. But in addition, everybody is responsible for bringing in their own business, and everyone has their own sphere. So yes, our goal is to really train everyone up and to really make our agents better agents at what they do, whether it's with knowledge or with sales skills. So I feel strongly that you don't build a business, you build up the people who will then build up your business. And again, I feel strongly that everyone understands our mission, which is just so exciting, because then we're able to do so much more than just a single agent.
Absolutely. And so I was just thinking about this because you were talking about growing people up. Are any of your agents, were they brand new to the business? Have you trained brand new agents, or do you only look for experienced agents?
So we have a lot of brand new agents, and actually a lot of my team, specifically my support staff too, are all younger than me by like at least 10 years. So, and I love that because my brain is always going in different ideas with lots of ideas, and I can bring it to them and I'll say, can you run with this? And they do. Yeah. But yes, we do have a lot of young agents that are fresh. And so that is one of the systems that we put into place this year, was actually an online course, not necessarily like a course for real estate to get licensing, but to be a better agent here in Metalios Group standards. So. Right.
Okay. So, running a team is basically you're running your own company. You're your own CEO. Tell us what a typical day looks like, or is there a typical day? I mean, probably not in the last year with COVID. Every day was different. But tell us how you spend most of your time during the day. Are you out there selling? How much time are you out there selling versus managing the team?
Yeah. So you're right. There is no typical day. At the same time, I will say that a big part of our team culture is consistency and consistency. So my morning is always the same. I have the same morning routine. It's 5 a.m. I'm on a 5 a.m. call with a bunch of other realtors. It's about 250 of us. It's the East Coast 5 a.m. call. Then I'm on a 7 a.m. call with Mary Bartos, who is, she runs 2 teams in Southwest Florida. And then I'm on an 8 a.m. call, which is the 5 a.m. call on the West Coast with a bunch of realtors. And then I'm on an 8:15 call with another agent, Andy C., who is one of the top agents in the country. And then 8:30 is when my team comes in, and we have an 8:30 Zoom huddle every morning. And then from that Zoom huddle call, then we do role play every day. So by 9 a.m. I've been on 5 calls, and then I huddle with support staff to kind of go over all the doing and done board that, we have these boards so that they know what they're going to run with that day. And then, yes, then the rest of the day is it could be anything. And that's where I depend on my support staff to tell me where I should be.
So I'm exhausted already by your 9 a.m.
Oh,
9 a.m. You've done 4 or 5 calls. And so your huddle, you said you're doing it Zoom now, but I suppose pre-COVID, they were in-person huddles?
Actually, it was always a phone call. And
Oh,
it's interesting that COVID turned us into the Zoom call. And it's actually a big part of our daily accountability. And it's kind of fun. It's like Monday is our weekend win, and everybody participates, and it's a quick call. It's less than 10-15 minutes. Monday's your weekend win, what your intention is for the week. Tuesday is Affirmation Tuesday. Wednesday is market report, what's going on with your business. Thursday, we do a whole group role play. And then Friday is Gratitude Friday. And then after that, then, Steph will put us into breakout rooms, and then we'll do role play with a group of 2 or 3. It's usually 3. One person is the agent, one person is the client, and then the other person's taking notes to give constructive criticism to whoever was role playing.
and that's how you're all just constantly honing your skills and helping one another. I love it.
Yeah. And I just want to say, when people hear that, it's not that we are doing like salesy sales skills, right? It's all about, like, I was listening to something this morning. It was like it's almost like we're therapists, honestly, where we are really helping our clients understand their why they want to move. Because once you can help them understand that and guide them and give them information and knowledge and data, then they're able to make their decisions. So it takes skill to do that. And it's kind of like, people laugh about our role play, but honestly, it's like, first of all, there are only so many transactions you can do. It's finite number of houses here in town, right?
Right.
So there, you would never want to go to a surgeon that only did 5 surgeries, right? You'd want someone who did it day in and day out. So even though we did do 80 transactions last year, but even if we didn't, it's being able to do it over and over again and have different types of situations. I don't know, I'm rambling on, but
No, and I think it's smart. And I love what you were saying about your accountability calls and all of that. I know Gino Blafari, who is my boss,
yes,
a weekly WIG call for all of the CEOs. We talk about our wildly important goals. It's a quick call. It's, there's probably 20 of us on each call, and it goes by like within 25 to 30 minutes. And then we have accountability partners that we speak to every single day. And I think that's important.
And he himself has his own too. I actually texted him before the call earlier today, and I wanted to congratulate him because he was on the top 200 most influential real estate people. So yeah, he's wonderful. And I've gotten a lot of, I've heard him talk a lot, and the execution, like he always talks.
4DX, 4 disciplines.
I think he read it like 20 times. So yeah.
I think he has it all memorized at this point. He presented that to our management team a couple of months ago. We're going to have him back to do it again.
Oh, good.
Great. So you talked a little bit about hiring people, and you had some fits and starts when you were first looking for, an assistant. Yeah. And so hiring the right people is so important. What do you look for specifically in hiring teammates? Or do you, is there a certain personality trait? I was going to ask whether you use a personality assessment tool, or do you even take it that far?
Yeah, so for sure, everyone takes a DISC assessment, the DISC test, and it's not like that's going to make or break someone, but it helps us understand how they're going to be motivated, how we can work together. Yeah. As far as what we're looking for, the number one thing is a growth mindset. Again, just because I'm always coming up with all these different things, we're in a changing environment. We're in a business that changes all the time. You need to learn how to pivot. So, and then as far as my agents are concerned, we're always looking for coachability. So sometimes that does eliminate the experienced agents because they're kind of set in their own ways. And sometimes they're not, but sometimes the older agents that have done it for 20 years are like, I've done it. I know what I'm doing. They wouldn't be a good match for our team. But I wouldn't say that there is a Metalios Group type. We're very diverse. I myself, I'm very quirky. And so like, we like to have fun, and we embrace each other's differences, and we love them. So it's, I truly believe that everyone on the team cares about each other. So it's a good culture.
When we were talking the other day, you mentioned something about family. Mm-hmm. How your team is your family.
Yeah, we're, it's really great because not only do we cover for each other, but we also know each other's hopes and dreams, not only, in the business, but in life. And it's, I think that everyone understands our mission and they want to better themselves so that they can give a better client experience. And they, like I said, when I was a solo agent, it's a very lonely business. You can be in the office. And when I first started in Manhattan, like everybody was like, didn't want to share anything of what they were doing because they're like, oh, what if they're looking at a 1-bedroom too? I don't want them to know about it, So, whereas here, like, someone gets an accepted offer or they have a closing, everybody's cheering for them. We have a bell in our office. It's
love it.
It's a lot of excitement and a lot of support. And I feel like everyone on the team believes that, supporting each other's success and helping each other is not going to dampen their own.
Right. I like that. Actually, many of our offices operate that way and have that same kind of culture of communication and helping one another and supporting one another and sharing information rather than, the scenario where they're trying to hide information. I think that's something special about our company that I love so much.
It is true. And when I was shopping around for companies, many of the Houlihan Lawrence agents had told me that, and I didn't really sense it until I got here. And it is very true because there is a lot of data that we have because we have so much market share.
Yeah. So let's talk about the importance of setting up systems, because setting up systems and then also everybody kind of knowing their role. So is your team running off of systems and processes, I would imagine, to stay as hyper organized as you seem to be, to me anyway? So, I'm saying you're a well-oiled machine, but I'm sure that systems and processes help you to be that way.
Yeah, again, going back to our mission statement of giving a 5-star experience, yes, we have systems in place. And after every transaction, we sit down and we say, what could we have done better? How could we have made that client experience better? What were the pain points in this? And so that caused a lot of checklists. And I always give the paint can example. We were at a closing like 2 years ago, and the day of the walkthrough, there were like 100 paint cans there. And we're like, oh my God. And the buyer's like, I don't want these paint cans, And so Max on my team is there like putting all the paint cans and bringing them to the dump. And so we learned from that. We're like, okay, now we have on our checklist to check with the buyer and see if they want the leftover paint or not. And if not, then we have to tell the seller to dispose of it. And it just eliminated that stress and anxiety. So we have systems in place and our transaction coordinators she's the keeper of the checklist, and she then assigns everything to be done. So from the time we take on a listing, it's contact the stager, the photography, everything, send out a handwritten note to the seller. There are things that we do so that everyone gets the same level of service. Then we also have, a whole buyer process. We have a whole client experience process. And then within the team, now we have this onboarding system, which we didn't have. And we have a leaderboard, so people know where they stand, so those are all systems that are in place within the team.
Yep. I love it. And it keeps everybody on task, and it keeps, as you said, it keeps things moving along, but it also provides everybody, all of your clients, with the same level of service. They're all getting virtually the same treatment, if you will.
And, that's something I just want to touch on really briefly, is that I have clients that will say, do you only deal with the high end, or are you going to take care of me? And we always say we have a system in place, so you will get the exact same service whether you are $10 million or you're a $50,000 listing. And I feel strongly. My mom was a single parent, and I want to treat everyone the way that I would want her to be treated.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, I love that. how do you track then and hold your teammates accountable?
So it's interesting because we have all this accountability in place, and I think it's really just part of our culture. Once a year, we do this amazing day. It's called our business planning day. And we talk about, again, their dreams, their goals. You know, we go through this whole process of like, let's talk about where you were 5 years ago, physically, financially, you know, mentally. And then let's talk about where you are now. And then let's talk about where you want to be 5 years from now. And then we take the financial part of it and we break it down as to how many, okay, if you want to make this amount of money and you want to save that much, then this is what you have to do. And let's backtrack it. How many sales do you need to have? And how many appointments do you need to have? And then how many phone calls do you need to make on a daily basis? So it's very data driven.
Yeah.
And so keeping them accountable, they want to be held accountable. At the end of that business day, we do these vision boards. And I ask their permission and I say, can I hold you accountable to what your daily numbers are? And because they've seen that the system works,
yeah.
And then they're like, yeah, I want this for myself. So it's kind of easy to hold them accountable.
Right.
And they hold each other accountable. Yeah.
And the vision boards are something that you said you do every year. And every team member does every year as well. And I assume it's both professional and personal, their dreams and their goals of what they want to.
Absolutely. And, you know, we do it every year. And this year we didn't know what we were going to do because of COVID. And it's usually a big, you know, team fun event. And one of my agents said to me, he was like, Joy, when are we doing the vision boards? And I was like, I don't know, with COVID and everything else. He's like, no, we have to do it. He's like, I did every single thing on my vision board this year.
That's great.
24-year-old that already has a house that he bought this year, got married. You know, it's just, wow. So that's amazing.
Yeah.
Right. You can never get your goals if you don't visualize them.
Absolutely. So how did you stay in touch with your team, especially during COVID? So you did a lot of Zooms. You probably talk all the time. Are you on the phone constantly with different team members?
So not constantly, but we do have a Slack channel. We use Slack, and that's our way of communication. We also use Trello, which is our, you know, it's what we use to communicate with each other, to assign tasks. Everyone, they work in groups together well, especially the support team members. And I'll give them a project and I'll be like, you run with it. And then they come back. A lot of Zoom, lot of Zoom.
And for those of you that don't know, Slack is an app that you could put on your phone, and you know, it's just basically messaging and talking to one another, and a whole group can see it.
Correct. And you can search easily. It's a great way to communicate.
Yeah.
But I also love Trello too.
Yeah. Okay.
Done boards. We use that a lot. Yeah.
Great. What are the challenges of running or operating a big team, and what are the rewards?
Oh, so challenges is of course, the larger that we get, I feel like it's harder for me to give quality time to each agent. So they do have one-on-ones, and that's done. A lot of that is done by my sales manager and by the COO, but I try to get in there also. It's hard to give as much individual attention. And then quality. So we want to make sure that everyone is representing the company that we want it to be. And sometimes with the newer agents, that's harder. So that's where we're like, you know, we have to have this, this educational online onboarding process in place to make sure that there's consistency with quality.
Got it. I just have one or two more questions, and then I see we've gotten some nice questions from our audience, so we will get to them in just a second. Any words of advice that you would give to somebody who is considering taking the first step in starting a team? Like, I'm sure everybody learns from mistakes. So what did you learn that you could share with our audience?
I guess the biggest thing would be progress, not perfection, and to just jump in and do it. But, you know, ask for other people, ask for advice from others, talk to as many people as possible, because there's plenty of people just like me who have gone through this and have, you know, I could tell you a million horror stories, but you can learn from our mistakes. And so I would say that's a big step. And I think it can be very rewarding. You know, I love it.
Well, you're helping people, you know, get into a home or upgrade a home. I think we're fortunate to be in the business that we're in, a people business like this, where it is truly rewarding to help people with that big decision.
Yes, yeah, it's definitely, it's a relationship business.
Yeah, for sure. All right, well, I'm going to jump over to chat here and see what kind of questions. Let's see. Oh, so the White Plains team is saying hello to Tony. They want Tony to know that the whole group of them is watching together. Amy, Rich, Kristen, and Zach. Here's a question from one of our agents. How do you avoid hiring, training a team member, then as they become successful, then they want to leave you and go off on their own? But I mean, you tell me, I'm sure it's happened.
You know, when we moved over to Houlihan, then I did lose some agents, but that was, you know, it was with the whole transition of moving a whole team. It's impossible. But I think we have a very good retention rate because it's fun to be on the team and it's very supportive. And like I said, it's, you know, there's a huge collaboration with everyone, and the benefits of being on the team is that they can have coverage, right? In case, like, I mean, people get sick, obviously, with COVID. It's been happening a lot lately. And then there's also the collaboration. You know, you could say, has anyone seen this? Does anyone know anything? And the chances of someone knowing is large. It's also a huge benefit to all the team members for their clients, because not only do they have themselves working for that client, but they have 10 other people who are licensed agents who are going to be looking out for the same thing, whether it's a buyer looking for a property, keeping their ear to the ground. So there's a huge benefit for being on the team besides the whole rah-rah aspect of it and the accountability. I think that, you know, like I said, it's not easy being a single agent. So, and I think, you know, some of my agents who've never been out on their own might not realize how lonely and difficult it can be. And it's difficult to get leads, and it's difficult to be motivated to do it. You know, one of the things that we're thinking of doing that we have to do, we haven't implemented it yet, is with my more senior agents is doing a mastermind with them to really, so that they can learn off each other to get listings, because right now it's all about getting listings.
Sure. And as an individual agent too, I mean, you're hard pressed to have personal time, vacation time, or anything. You have to try and find an agent to cover for you, but that agent doesn't know your customers and clients that you're working with as well as you do. So on a team where everybody's involved, you know, you don't have those same issues.
Yes. Yeah.
Let's see, what are some of the other questions here? How do you handle client overlap if two team members have client relationships, for example, prior to joining the team?
That hasn't really happened. I mean, everyone's kind of worked it out amongst themselves. We have some people that are looking in Connecticut and New York. And so some of my agents are New York licensed, some are Connecticut licensed, and they just kind of work it out themselves.
Yep, got it. Here's some comments. Love the work ethic and the 5 a.m. calls.
Welcome to join the 5 a.m.
Somebody here said you said that there were 10 licensed agents. 3 were client care specialists, and so are the other 7, are they like buyer agents or?
They do both. They buy, they list. Yes.
Got it. Okay. Let's see. Thanks for sharing your expertise. Refresh my memory. How many agents are on your team?
So right now, 10 licensed agents.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And here's a question. How long have you been coached by Tom Ferry? And was the coaching instrumental in your confidence to start your team? Or did you have your team before you started coaching with Tom Ferry?
So I started coaching with Tom, I think maybe three or 4 years ago. And so my team—
You had already started to grow your team.
Yeah, but it wasn't— I mean, honestly, he was instrumental. And even last year with the move and everything else, I mean, the coaches are amazing. Mike Shum was my coach. Debbie Holloway was my coach. And Tom is someone that I was literally texting on a daily basis. He's like, I want you to get 100 listings. I'm like, I'll never get 100 listings, Tom. But he's great and just really helping to understand again the mission statement, our core values. It's like if you really come from a place of help to help all of your clients, and you do a good job, it's like do your job well and the business will come.
Will follow. Absolutely. Absolutely.
And it's like we're always just, what I love about the Tom Ferry ecosystem too is that we're constantly learning from other top agents in the country. And I feel like there's something to be learned every single day, which is why I do all those calls in the morning. It's not just to talk to someone. It's like, how can I improve the team, our client experience, everything? And so I think if you keep trying to improve it, it also keeps it not boring. It's not, it's exciting to always try different things and to see what works in other markets to see if it's going to work here.
Yep. I love it. Somebody does have a question. May I ask the commission, how the commission split works? So I just want to remind you, we're not discussing commission splits or plans or anything like that, compensation of any kind. But Joy has offered that if you had a question for her, you could reach out to her offline and she'll be happy to have a confidential discussion with you about that. Let's see. Do you personally connect with all of the clients?
So I would like to. We are trying to put something in place so that I do that. It's not always successful, but that is one of our pain points that we're working on right now. We do have client appreciation parties this year. It was only the pie party, and so that's a big event. This year we did a drive-through pie party.
So I saw that on Instagram or Facebook or something. You guys literally had all your clients come and pick up beautiful pies for Thanksgiving, right?
Yes. So that was great. It's, the clients end up having a personal experience with all their agents that they work with also. So
Great. Let's see.
Oh, I see a question from Tim Royster. Hi, Tim.
Yes.
Northern Virginia. Hi. And he asked, how do we incorporate the team into our videos? So, if it weren't COVID, we'd be able to do more of that. We definitely, they do their videos too. So like Katie Benson is in Darien. So she does a lot out and about in Darien. Jen Thomas up in Fairfield, she does videos up there as well. Max in Stanford. So they're all working on becoming community experts. We also use them in market reports, weekend updates, like what's fun to do in the weekends. We really try to incorporate video a lot. I think it really helps everyone, whether you're a single agent or a team member or leader, is, there's that instant type of trust that people will have when they can see and hear you. And that's why I think it's super important. Listen, COVID has changed the way we do business, and having a lot of Zoom meetings. That's one of the first things that we do when someone calls us and they don't know us, is like, hey, let's set up a Zoom so that we can have a face-to-face. And whenever I meet someone for the first time, they're like, I feel like I already know you because I've seen you on video and this, that, and the other. I know people feel uncomfortable sometimes, like being in front of the camera, but honestly, that's how you look, and just get over it.
You have to get over the fear, right? You just did a market report or review. I saw.
Yeah. And it's so easy. Houlihan Lawrence gives you all the data. You just regurgitate it.
Right. We do try to make it easy for everyone. Absolutely. Somebody here is asking for your Instagram name so they can follow you.
Okay. Metalios Group. Metalios Group is what it is. Yeah.
Metalios Group on Instagram. Okay. And here's a question. You had mentioned, how do you get your clients to follow you on social media? Do you tell them to follow you when you first meet with them?
We don't, but that's a good idea. We should. And, Part of one of our systems is once you're a client of ours, you're a client of ours for life. I can't even tell you how many times I'll go on a listing presentation and I'll look and see who the broker was who sold them the house. And I'll be like, that's a good broker, but that broker didn't stay in touch with them. So, studies show that 8 out of 10 people would use the broker that sold them the house, but they don't stay in touch with them. So it gives people like us opportunities to get in. So we try to avoid that, and we stay in touch with our clients for life. And I think being in touch with them on social media is really important. That's one of our client experience things that we're working on, is to have the support staff on my team look and see our clients' social media, see if there's a life event going on, and to send them a present to surprise and delight them.
Yeah, I love that. Here's another question. If a seller contacts the Metalios Group, who goes on the appointment and does the actual listing presentation? Do you attend all of those listing presentations in your market area? Or what is your market area? I'm sorry, that's part of the question. What is your market area?
My market area is Greenwich, Connecticut. Houlihan Lawrence is based mostly in Westchester County, which is above New York City, as well as we're in Fairfield County in Connecticut. I try to go to as many listing appointments as possible. We do have a elaborate pre-listing presentation that we send out ahead of time. So when we walk through the door, people love us already. And then, yes, I try to bring along another team member also, so that they can see the listing presentation. And that is something that we need to work on our team, is role playing the listing presentation as well, because that is where a lot of the objection handling can come in, and understanding like where the seller is coming from and understanding their needs.
I suppose also if you're introducing another team member at that point at the listing presentation, there's another person for them to go to, or that they feel like they know that they've met, if you're unavailable at some point, to take a call from them or something.
Absolutely. Like, I'm not an analytic, but maybe someone would relate better to someone that I bring along who's an analytic also.
Yeah. All right. Let's see if there's any other questions here. Why do you have your supporting agents buy and sell versus just being a buyer's agent or a seller's agent?
Yeah, so I know that that's the way a lot of teams work, and some teams, and with the age of Zillow coming in, and some people are thinking that they should just have showing agents because that's what they think Zillow is going to be doing. I do think, again, I don't know. I wouldn't just want to be labeled as a buyer's agent if I were on my team. I'd want to be a part of the team and have the ability to sell, to list, and to have all those skills. So I feel strongly, like I said before, you build your members up and they'll build up your business.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I just jumped over to the Q&A. It looks like we've got some questions in there too. Here is one. When do you go to bed every evening? She says, no, I'm not kidding, in order to be on your game for a 5 a.m. daily call.
I try to be in bed by 10 p.m. And there's an app that Tom Ferry told me about. It's called Sleep Button, and it kind of puts you to bed because you have to imagine these very mundane things. But otherwise, my brain is going in 100 different directions.
Right, and you can't turn off. Exactly.
Yeah.
Here's a question. How do you separate buyer and seller representation? Do your agents do both? Well, you did kind of answer that one a little bit. And how did you get involved with network calls? Maybe that's the group that you're in, those morning calls that you're doing.
Yeah, so those are mostly mastermind calls. One's an accountability call, another one is an affirmation, but they're also very big team leaders throughout the country, and that is through the Tom Ferry ecosystem. And again, just talking to them about what's working, what's not, what online lead sources they're using, what things that they're putting into their businesses. Like the ISA model is something that's new for us, so that we can, again, follow up is so important. And when we get busy, and we got really busy last year, that was something that fell off. So we want to really stay in touch with everyone. Again, communication is key. And then, yeah, just putting systems in place. We realized that we didn't send out a whole bunch of just sold cards because we got so busy last year. So now we're like, that's got to be automated. We got to make sure we do that, you know?
Yeah. Okay. And here's, we've got just two more here. How do you handle the listings? Do the agents get listed as the listing agent, or are you like a co-listing agent with MLS with your team members?
Yeah, so it depends. Oftentimes I will be a co-list. Sometimes I'll be the main agent and that's it. It will be my listing. And sometimes I'll be the co-list. And if it's, specifically if it's in a market that I want an agent to grow in and I'm not necessarily interested in, I'll be like, you do the whole thing. So.
Right. So I love that you let them share in the MLS credit, and to be able to, get that credit and grow their business and the accolades and everything that goes along with it.
Absolutely. Yeah. And the other thing is too, everything is so transparent these days. You can find out everything online. I really don't like when you go onto someone else's team and it looks like their team members did zero, because as a consumer, I'd be like, I don't want to do business with that person. They've done zero sales. And so,
Right. Here's a question. As a new agent who switched from over 20 years of corporate sales to real estate, how do we approach an established realtor to ask if they are interested in creating a team? Do we go through the broker or direct? I would say either one. If you have a relationship with an experienced agent in your office and you're interested in joining a team to perhaps learn from that agent, approach them or discuss it with your manager, because I know we have many agents within all of our offices right now that are looking for help and looking to, grow a team by adding somebody who can take buyers for them or just to partner with and work with. So I don't know if you want to add anything to that. Have any of your team members just approached you, Joy?
To join the team?
Yeah.
Yeah. Our team has actually grown all organically.
Right.
So as far as the agents are concerned, so some of them were past clients, which is fun, and some people just have heard about us and just want the mentorship. Again, it takes the right type of person who's not going to be all about their ego, but understand that, if the team succeeds, they succeed.
Yeah. And we just got a couple more in, and then we'll let you go because we're at 10:05 now. Would you take someone on your team who only wants to work part-time, or do you require full-time?
It's a tough. When I first started, I definitely did part-time. So, it really depends on the situation. Again, I've had people approach me who want to join the team and they're like, well, we don't want to disappoint you, and we know that you have standards. And what I will say to that is, I feel like everyone needs to hold standards to themselves, and then I will hold you accountable to that. So I'm looking at our 2021 sales goals for next year, and some of them are very small for some people because of what's going on with their family right now, or because they can't commit that much, and that's okay. And so what we do is we just backtrack all of your leading indicator and your, what you have to do on a daily basis so that you can meet that goal, whether it is because that's your goal, it's your personal goal. And so no, as long as you, as far as my team is concerned, as long as you understand the culture and the support and that you do what you have to do, then that's okay.
Right. What are your favorite gifts to give clients, and what is the schedule of giving? But you did say you do the pie. Do you do anything other than that?
So we mix it up every year. We're actually going to have a meeting soon to have we do a yearly calendar. I saw some really cool ones. We were thinking of doing, but we just did a Christmas gift. Also, we did these coffee mugs, and it said, the market is hot, your cocoa should be too. So we add cocoa, and it's like a branded mug. We're thinking of doing these blue light glasses that are branded that say, hoping to take a little of the blue out of 2021, just because everyone's been spending so much time on the screen.
Clever.
We like to do Girl Scout cookies. The pies is our big event. Everyone's like, you should do a summer pie event because the pies are so delicious. But and then we've done different things. When we joined Houlihan Lawrence, we gave everyone in our sphere a pizza. It was basically a pizza box wrapped in ribbon, and on it was a coupon for free pizza from the local pizzeria, and it said, "Thank you for being a slice of our success."
Oh, I love that.
Lawrence, and that was a big event. We do all different types of fun things. It's kind of like it's a moving target because everybody comes up with different ideas.
Different ideas, yeah.
And that's part of the beauty of the team is the collaboration. It's like everyone has a say, and I am of the mindset that I am never the smartest person in the room, and I love hearing all the ideas. So that's the way we grow.
Yeah, I love that. Let's see. Here's just it sounds like a comment with a question. I love the idea of reviewing each transaction to see where improvement could be made, and you have a client retention program in place. At the end of a transaction, do you send a survey or questionnaire or follow up in some way with the client?
So we don't do a survey at the end. We should. We do send them something in the beginning to kind of find out what their interests are, so that we can make sure that the client gifts are kind of their taste. Like, what's your favorite, I don't know, team? Do you like sweet or salty? Whatever it is, so that. But yeah, and asking them how we did would be a good questionnaire. We do always ask for a review, and that's, we hit 200 5-star Zillow reviews this year, which was a big feat. And so that is our goal, is to always make sure that everyone walks away as a raving fan, because every single one of those people is then going to send more clients to us.
Yep, absolutely. Have you read that book, Raving Fans?
No, it's on my list. Yeah,
it's a good one.
My Audible queue.
Great. Well, I think we have covered a lot of ground today. I can't thank you enough for joining us and doing this with us. You have just to share your talent and your expertise and everything with us means so much to all of us. So thank you, Joy, for your time. And for everyone else for tuning in, thank you. For Houlihan Lawrence, we'll be posting this to the in crowd for those of you that may have missed it or couldn't stay on the whole time. But again, Joy, thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me. Yeah,
absolutely. All right. Take care. Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Bye-bye.